Hi, I'm Darren Murphy. Welcome to FVTV Monday Night Live. We're here with the referees, Eddie Nally and Callanan. So first of all, I suppose we get a small background of you and how you got into reffing first day.
I got injured and I just took it up from there. I tried to go coaching but it didn't work, so I just took up the whistle.
And Keith, how did you start out?
Yeah, I started off when I was 18 years of age. My father was a referee and he encouraged me to get involved. He said it was something I might like. I started off as an apprentice electrician and the money wasn't great, so he said, I put petrol in our car for work. He said, try it for a couple of months, see how you get on. And it's like, man, I enjoyed the love of the head. I got the bug and that was it. Still at it since.
Did you play football?
Yeah, I played with Casement underage. I played more garden soccer, to be honest, though. Played with the Bears all up long and played a little bit of soccer with Casement, but not much.
And Eddie, you said you got injured. You obviously played as well.
Yeah.
What age was it?
Got injured when I was 24. I was out to play my casement from schoolboys all the way up to senior, and I played for the season after getting the cruise shit done, but it wasn't the same, so I had to call it a day. So I just took up the whistle then instead.
Yeah, it's something. It's something kind of. It's kind of struggling at the moment to get lads into. And why would you say that? Like,
I suppose what a lot of it is down to is like refereeing has a bad reputation insofar as like people perceive it to have massive amounts of abuse, etc. And it's not very attractive, especially for younger people to get involved in, like, they're saying, why would I want to get involved in that, going to get abused for 90 minutes and stuff, like. But it's really not like that. Like, it's again, at the end of the day, if you take abuse, you'll get abuse, like, you know. So once you have a good knowledge of the laws of the game and a decent level of fitness, that's kind of half the battle, really, like. And that's why they're trying to encourage younger fellas to get involved, because there's massive opportunities there as well for guys to come in, like, and go onto the League of Ireland panel and go onto the FIFA panel and stuff, like. So it's a way to stay involved, especially if you're not really a talented footballer. It's a way and you love football. It's definitely a way to get involved and stay involved in the sport, like.
yeah, well, if you look at Alan Kelly there, I mean, he's over in America there now, flying. You know, getting he's got his FIFA badges and he's doing really well. So there is a career path. I actually found a new respect for referees when I started coaching, because you know, you're doing the games and lads are just going to moan, like. And I was a moaner myself, and like, you know. You you get things wrong, like, and it's going to happen. Like, I get decisions wrong in the games all the time, like, and the lads are screaming at you, and like, you know, do you kind of brush it off, or do you take it on the chin, or do you kind of hold?
You have to take it on the chin at times, but like, if you do make a mistake at times, you have to put your hand up and admit you made a mistake. But you just get on with it. Then you can't change your decision, so just move on.
Just about that, yeah. So can you actually change your decision? Because a couple of referees have done in the past. What's the standing on it?
You can, once you haven't restarted, you can change. You know, we'd say you get a free kick the wrong way, or you give a throw ball the wrong way. Before the play's restarted, you can change your decision. But you know, we don't have too often either. Like,
yeah, well, look, you have to stand your ground as well, and look. That's just part of the game. Just on decisions.
The odd time though, like in the Premier League, you know, a couple of times the guys went for penalties and stuff, like, and the defender will stand up and say, look, I actually didn't touch him, like, you know. In that kind of situation, you kind of have to go, I got it wrong, you know, and just restart with a drop ball, like, and say, hold your hands up, tell everybody, look, I got it wrong, sorry. As you said, you're only human as well, like, you know, so. And you probably find that guys will respect you a little bit more for it as well, like, you know, if you do hold your hand up and you know you're genuinely wrong, and say, yeah, I got it wrong, then you get more respect from people as well than trying to bluff it and go, no, I'm definitely right, you're lying, like, you know, it's pointless, like.
Yeah, look, again, I'm saying you have to kind of stand your ground at times as well. I mean, decisions, like, the fellas at the top get it wrong week in, week out when we're watching games, you know. It's going to happen. It's just the way it is. But like, for getting young lads into refereeing, have you anything? Have you, like, you know, like the coaching badges, or do you have like referee days for young kids?
No, what it is that the FEI would run a referee course, and you basically, fellas will take it up from there. They start at a grade 4, you work your way up the ladder then. Like, you have grade 4, 3, 2, 1. Myself and Keith, them will be elite, where senior grade 1s is called. There's only, 5? There's 5 in Cork. 5 of us at the moment, and then the next level will be the elite lads, which would be the League of Ireland panel. So like, if a fella shows a bit of initiative and if he's fit and knows the laws, he'll go up the ladder fairly quickly. But it's just about getting they need the experience then of getting bigger games, like, you know, so like the younger the better. Like if you started at 18, 19, you could be on the League of Ireland panel by the time you're 24. But like if you're starting in your late 30s, you're not going to go much higher than a grade 1.
Yeah. And like what's the minimum age?
Fellas can start at 16 years of age, yeah. But like there is a great career path, as Keith said already, you know. But it's just a matter of getting experience under your belt, you know, and knowing the laws and being fit.
Is 16-year-old getting paid the same then as an elite, or is there a kind of pay grade structure that way?
Well, pay wise it's different at every level. It starts off in their 12s. I think it's €24 a game or something like that. Like, and then as you go up into junior football and intermediate football, it goes higher, and then you get to League of Ireland, it goes higher again, like, you know. So you have a set match fee, and then you get travel expenses as well. When you're travelling, let's say, to Cork and stuff, you get 50 cents a mile on top of that as well. Like, but
is there a bit of competition so built into it as well, like around the refs to get games? Obviously there is to get the big games.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be financially driven or anything like that. Like,
no.
You know, it would absolutely, like, everybody wants to do the biggest games. Like, everybody looks at the table, looks at the fixtures, they'll come up the following week and go, yeah, I love that one, like, you know, I'd love to be in the middle of that, like, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Like, that's what you want the big games, you want to be involved in the big games, you want to put yourself out there, like, and challenge yourself at the end of the day. Same as players, they want to play in the big games, referees want to be involved in the big games.
And like, what drives you? So obviously me being a footballer and coming at that side, I've never refed, you know. We're talking about the big games, and what kind of drives you towards reffing the game? Like, what are you looking forward to before the game, and is it tough decisions, kind of challenges?
No, like at the moment in the Munster Senior League, your Cove Wanderers, Avondale games, your Cove Wanderers, Rockmount games, they're the ones you want. They're going to be the top of the table clashes. Like if you're not involved, you're going to be disappointed at some little bit of a level. Like, but like going back a couple of years ago, there, the Intermediate Cup final was coming up, and myself and Keith we were the one targeted for it. Like, and we knew it was coming between the two of us, and you know, if Keith got it, I'd have been behind him 100%. I was lucky, I got it, but he was my fourth official on the day, like, and I couldn't have asked him for anybody else, like. Yeah. But just in regards to local football, and every weekend, you want the top 3 or 4 games. Like, if you don't get them, personally, I'd be disappointed. Like, but you can't get every big game.
Yeah, well, look, there's only so much can go wrong, but obviously you're looking forward to the games. Like, a lot of players would think that you're the night before you're just shining your cards. So
you know, like, it's not like that. Like, as a referee, at the end of the day, the aim as a referee going out there is to control the game, and if you can get through a game controlling the game and not be noticed, you've done your job properly. I mean, there's people have a perception that the referee wants to be centre of attention, he wants to be involved, and he wants it to be all about them. It's the complete opposite. They don't want to be. They want to be out there. Yeah, they want to help contribute to a decent game by playing good advantages, protecting the flair players, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, if you go through a game unnoticed and you get your critical incidents right, you've done okay at the end of the day.
Yeah, excellent. And again, everyone tuning in at the moment, I'd say there's probably lots of questions here. And again, ask as many questions. That's what the two lads are here for tonight. We want to find out what way they see the game. But there is a couple of questions already.
Yeah, so Graham Duffy said 2 Cork refereeing legends. So,
two Cork referee legends. I'd agree with Graham on that, actually, yeah.
Instagram from Dave Nally. Do you try and even up decisions if you get one wrong previously?
That's a good one, actually. So I was actually going to ask that myself, but who asked it, sorry? Dave Donnelly. So, yeah, like, obviously, you've given, there's a penalty, you know you've got it wrong, and, you know, obviously fellas will say, oh, you've given a soft one then to give it back. Is that?
No, it doesn't work that way. What you would be conscious of is, we'd say, Team A, you've given them 3 free kicks in a row, you're kind of going, you know, you don't want to be giving too many free kicks to any team, but like, you'd be conscious that Team B are getting nothing, so like, you're not going to be even up the scale at that stage, but you just be conscious of it all the time. Like,
yeah, and is there that kind of fairness, like, is that kind of promoted, you know, keep, like you're saying, control the game? Sometimes you have to kind of keep it fair like that. I know it's you're saying like Team A and Team B 3 decisions, so they've got to get one, and then the players would look at it, or the coaches be like, oh, well, we need like this. we need all the decisions, but that you do have to control the game in that instance.
At the end of the day, control is key. Like, and what it boils down to game management and referees' game management of it. Like, and as Eddie said, if you have a team that are feeling absolutely aggrieved that they haven't got anything in the first 10 minutes, you've given loads of frees against them, they're on your back saying, come on, like, you're giving us nothing, and you get an opportunity to give a soft 50-50 free kick. From a game management perspective, it might be worth your while giving that free kick. I'm not saying invent a free kick if it's a free kick, but it's a soft free kick. From a game management perspective, it might be worth giving it. But for critical instances, regards to penalty kicks and stuff, evening things up, absolutely not. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake into the back of the brain and move on. Same as a player.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, so Killian's asking who do you think will win the Munster Senior League Premier First Division and Second?
Oh, that's a good question. Eddie?
It's too early in the season.
Get off the fence there, guys.
He's just there. He's got someone back. He's got someone back, and he's reffing the big games. That's what he wants.
No, we're not allowed.
Fair enough. Ivan Sexton, what's the dirtiest game each of you have reffed?
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh, dirtiest. I think it was Rovers and Limerick. Down in Limerick one night. Kind of got a bit heated. All right, there was a lot of phlegm.
How many reds?
Being passed.
Was
I
it
think
spitting?
oh yeah,
That's the worst.
off the supporters on the way off. I think there was 4 on the night, 2 each. It's a long time ago, and I was 12 or 13 years ago, so I don't know who the players involved were, but that was probably one of the dirtiest ones.
It's hairs on the chest, those games. What about you, Keith?
I suppose from a dirty game perspective, the most vivid memory I'd have of a game where you come off the pitch and you're going, oh my god, like, what happened there? Like, it was my first year refereeing junior football. It was a semi-final of a FVI Junior Cup. The game had been played already, and when team lodged an objection, I was an assistant on the day, so the game was refixed, and it was in Limerick. The game was in Jackman Park. Doesn't matter who was playing, but in the last minute, the away team scored a goal to go 2-0 up, so that finished the game as a contest, and the home team, free from the kick-off, just dropped the fella, and all hell broke loose. They came off the benches, bouncing chairs off each other and everything, and we literally walked into the dressing room, and as you walked into the dressing room, there was the dressing room entrance was fenced off either side, and they started lobbing bricks and stones over the fences. We were going in, like, so you're literally going in, ducking in, like, but that was the worst I've ever seen ever. But from a game like, there's nothing really, like, but that is an isolated incident, was definitely the worst I've ever come across.
Jesus, I didn't know you'd go through something like that. Referee courses there next week. First you got to get through the throwing bricks part, see what you're made of.
So most progressive club the last few years that the lads have seen? So Keith, maybe second.
Most progressive club that you've seen so far?
To be fair, an awful lot of clubs in Cork are doing the right thing. You know, they're all improving their facilities, they're all improving their dressing rooms. They've a lot of clubs now putting time into their pitches, they're looking after the pitches, they have groundsmen and stuff like that. Progressive, I suppose from a Munster Senior League perspective, the one that jumps to mind would probably be Ringmahon Rangers. And when you look at what they're doing as a club, as a facility down there, they have fantastic dressing rooms, they have a decent pitch, and from senior right down to junior, right down to schoolboys football, they're really successful the whole way through. So I think that's probably progression as a model. The other one that springs to mind in an AUL team would be Pear Celtic. As a club, they did just have a junior team a couple of years ago. They now have 2 junior teams. They're massively involved in the football for all, for special needs kids and stuff like that, and they've actually started 2 schoolboys teams now this year, so they're trying to build a club as opposed to just a team, like, so they'd probably be the one the AUL that would spring to mind.
That's excellent, 2 great clubs, yeah. And
Middleton and what they achieved last year. And as well as that, they have a couple of schoolboy teams that were in national cup finals the last couple of years. In regards to the AUL, the lads up in Knocknaheeny, they've done it unbelievable the last 3 or 4 years. So, like, they have the talent up here then as well, you know. So, you know, it's just a matter of the players coming through.
And just on that, like, is there any, like, I know you don't want to say any names, but is there a couple of hostile places that you don't want to go as a ref, or most of the clubs like accommodating and, you know?
No, like the higher you go refereeing, I think the more respect you get. and you have to earn the respect first. But like when you arrive at grounds, right, there's always a place that you don't really want to go, but you just have to get on with teams, and they respect you, you respect them, and then they have a job to do, and that's it. Like,
There are clubs, like you said, that they have a reputation, not from referees, no, but from other people. Oh, this is a tough place to go. It's a tough place to try and get a win and stuff like that. Like, you know, so like they're the places you want to be going as a referee. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit of a sadist or something. I don't know, like, but I love going to these places. Like, I love going up there. I love having a big crowd up there, and you know, fellas on your back on the line screaming. Like that's what it's about. Like, you want to be involved in those kind of games. Like,
yeah. As a player, I was the same. Like, to get to the hostile places, and you know, it gives you an extra buzz. Like, doesn't it? It's like same thing. You got it.
The biggest challenge facing refs today from Chris Thor.
The biggest challenge facing refs today.
Parents at the schoolboy games, you know. Yeah, most parents think that, look, their young fella or their young one is going to be the next Roy Keane, and they want this and that, and like sometimes the parents are putting the kids under pressure. The kids just want to go out and play ball and enjoy it, but like they want them to go to England and make money and set mammy and daddy up, but this don't happen. You know, once in a blue moon you're going to get a player like Roy or Dennis Irwin, so. And yourself, you weren't too bad, like.
I was terrible. Probably my attitude towards refs killed me when I was a young fella.
Yeah, again, a lot of it is down to parents and spectators and stuff like that. Like, but a lot of it is down to ignorance as well, insofar as like they're not really aware of the laws of the game and stuff, and they see what's happening. We'd say, like in a lot of the big Premier League games now, you see players verbally abusing referees, and it's just been taken at the top level. Like, and this filters down. Then, like, so the young fellas are learning this, like, and they think that it's okay to do this. Then, like, so. I mean, like, you really do, as a referee starting off, you really do have to earn a reputation and earn respect as well from players. Like, you know, it doesn't come easy, like, but as Eddie said, the higher you go, the easier it kind of gets, really, like.
It does have to change from the top down. I agree with that. Like, you know, you see it, like, and I know a couple of refs there, and I'd be speaking to them, and, you know, they're saying, like, 15s games, Premier games and stuff like that, like, fellas have the attitude, you know, and they're screaming at the ref, even the young fellas, and like, you just can't do that. And I was probably a big moaner and shouter at refs as well when I was underage, and it just, like, if I had to go back now and just give my younger self a kick up the hole and say, shut up and get on with the game, you know. But as you said, it kind of comes from people around and how they do treat the ref, and
it's a learned behaviour. Like, that doesn't come naturally to people. Like, if you look at, we'll say, the rugby model now, so, and the respect that the referees have within the rugby circles, I mean, like, you don't speak to them unless you address them properly and you do it respectfully. You have a conversation with them. You don't scream and shout and roar at them, because it comes from the top level right the way down to grassroots. So, like, that's definitely something that needs to be addressed. Like, but
and are the FEI driving anything towards that, or with the refs?
Not that I know of. They have this respect thing. They're trying to put it across the lines from a schoolboy football. Like, the parents have to respect the referees, and they have all these up now at the grounds. But you know, you're always going to get a parent on the line that's going to give it, and then like, most of the time the players are okay, but when it starts on the sideline, it develops on and grows onto the pitch, and then the players start. Like, if the line control themselves first and set an example, then the players will follow suit.
Yeah, and I know, look, it's hard for clubs as well. I know they say that it's on the club to take care of the home fans, you know, their own home fans. It's very hard to control if you've got 50 people at a game and tell everyone. There's always going to be one fella tell you, shut up then, you know. Or
you'll probably find that you have the repeat offenders. Yeah. You're probably going to have the same guy every week doing it. So it's very easy to isolate them and say, look, you're bringing a bad reputation on the club. It's not good enough. If you want to be part of this club, this is how you need to behave. Every club has an ethos that they have to adhere to. So as a spectator, you should have to adhere to that as well, I think. Like,
I seen one thing on Facebook during the week, and I don't know if you saw it as well. It was a little quote, like, a kid went into the kitchen and he started shouting at his dad about making the breakfast, like, oh, you're doing it wrong, you're doing the frying pan wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. And then it was kind of basically at the end of it was like, you know, this is how I feel like on game day. Yeah. And it brings to reality. But
like, I know myself, like, my young kids playing sports as well at the moment, like, and I go to their matches, like, and there is times like when you actually just have to, like, just bite your lip down, leave him doing himself, leave him figure out himself what he's doing wrong and what he's doing right. So because, like, again, like, you'd ask afterwards, and he'd ask me, how do you think I done? And like, it'd always be like, look, you've done really good at this, focus on the positives, and then kind of give one development point. Next week, try and do this instead of doing that, and see how that goes for you, as opposed to shouting and roaring and stuff. It just doesn't work, like, 'cause it just goes in one ear and out the other ear, like.
Yeah, they don't really listen, do they? Got to shout at them.
So Alex Callanan's asking, is there any new referees coming through, and just average age?
So that's a good one. Yeah, have we got any good refs coming through in Cork?
There's a lot of young fellas coming through, like in regards to the League of Ireland panel. You have Kevin O'Sullivan. Kevin, what age is Kevin? 22, 23? He's young. Kevin is young. Like Shane O'Flynn had a great season last year in the senior league. Shane's another young fella. You have like say Christopher Sheehan, a couple of ex-players then that are after getting involved. Ryan Conway, he's from Fermoy. He played senior with Fermoy. There's some nice young lads coming through, but like that now, they just need, like, I'm at it now 20 years, but like it's only the last 5 or 6 years that I think that I've kind of really starting to shine more than what I did 10, 12 years ago. But like you're not going to be a good referee in 2 or 3 years. It's taught in 10, 15, maybe 20 years to get to the top.
Yeah, and look, I know Kevin, I was going to speak to you about it. Kevin O'Sullivan, he ref the game, Rockmount and Ringman that I was at last week, and I asked you to text him and see if he'd be comfortable with what I saw and what he saw, just to speak about like different angles of games and what's seen. So I was up like the top left-hand corner. Basically, from what I saw, was the Ringman player and Rockmount player collided and looked like probably kind of Ringman player fouled the Rockmount player, and then the whistle wasn't blown. The ball landed to the right, and then the Ringman player kind of felt a bit of kind of undone or something, and kind of swung in then wildly at the ball onto the floor. But as he's got the ball wildly, someone's come 2 foot into his back, a Rockmount guy. Big brawl, everyone on the pitch, and Kevin went and talked to the both linos, and from the angle I saw, I thought the 2 footed challenge at the end into the back was a definite red, but he actually booked the Ringman player who was down on the ground. So again, angles, and I think you spoke to Kevin about it.
To watch that, no.
Splinters.
Referees union, they won't talk.
Yeah, no, I spoke to Kevin briefly on it. I said I didn't go into too much detail about him, but he said that the angle that he had of it, he didn't feel that there was a red card in it. Now I know that there was 3 officials on the game on the night. The 2 officials that, which would be Kevin and the assistant that had a similar angle to Kevin, felt that there was no red card in it, but the assistant, who probably would have been on the same side as you and had an angle of you, felt that there could have been a possible red card in it. But on the night, Kevin was comfortable with his decision, and to be fair, I think on the night, speaking to people at the game, Kevin had an excellent game on the night and handled the game really well. Like, Ringman and Rockmount is going to be one of the toughest games you're going to come across all year in the Munster Senior Premier Division, like, and by all accounts he done really well in the night, like. So.
Yeah, no, like he did really well, especially with that kind of brawl as well. You know, I was thinking after, Jesus, it's gonna kick off here, and it didn't. It was a great game to watch. No, it was frantic, 100 miles an hour, like, you know, and challenges, and he had a great game now, to be fair, and he did control it, but just goes to show, like, different angles, like, you know, make a difference. Like, sometimes you could be screaming on the line, you know, like that a referee got a decision wrong. Again, it's all about the angle, and sometimes they do get it wrong, but, you know.
Yeah, like, you're on about their angles now and positioning and stuff, but like there's times that like you're looking at it from 30, 40 yards, and like the first thing you should look at is your player's reaction. If your player's not looking for the free kick, then you're going, oh, he must have gotten it right. And then, like, I know I do it, Keith probably does it. Always give yourself 2 or 3 seconds, because the next phase of play could develop, that the ball's going to break and you're going to attack, and you could be given a free kick back here, and it gives the other team a chance to get their defenders back to defend. Whereas if you give yourself the 1, 2, 3 seconds, it can develop and lads can get away and get a promising attack out of it, you know. So like, you don't always have to blow the whistle straight away, like.
Yeah, and again, you just made a good point there about knowledge of the game. I mean, I'd obviously know the game being a footballer, but I don't know the game that well, and I don't think anyone does, football wise, that goes into the detail of referees. Like, just the game there last week, there was a penalty decision, and I thought it was a yellow card, but I spoke to you at half time, and I just said, was that not a yellow? And you just explained to me, no, it wasn't, you know.
I asked you, why was it a yellow?
What?
I asked you, why was it a yellow?
Yeah, you asked me why it was a yellow, and I said, No, I said because it's a penalty.
Yeah. So
He has to get a yellow for a penalty. No, but he did. He took him down as goal opportunities. That's what I'm thinking.
No, the game in question, the player checked back. He was heading towards the end line. He checked back away from goal and he got clipped. And it was a penalty. So, like, your yellow card offences are reckless tackle, denying a promising attack. They'd be your main two real ones. Like, and it wasn't. It was a trip and he was going away from goal, so it was never going to be a promising attack. Like, but straight away, the mentality as a manager was he got fouled in the penalty area. It has to be a card. You know, but again, that's where communication is so important as well for a referee, to be able to communicate your decisions to players and managers. You have to have dialogue during matches as well, and you have to have man management. You have to be able to speak to players. You have to be respectful as well to players. Like, you know, and you have to understand that these guys, you know, they're training 2 and 3 nights a week, leading up to this game. Like, you know, it's not just going for a game of ball. It's serious when it gets to senior Premier Division level. Like, you know, and they've got a lot at stake. Like, you know, so you have to be aware of all this as well. Like, so you have to be able to talk to guys, and you have to be able to sell your decisions and explain your decisions, really, like, to a certain degree.
Yeah, and that's something like obviously you're going to shout about it at the time. You know, it's going to be like, you know, Jesus, it's going to be yellow or something like. But the fact that I've kind of taken decision to come to you at half time and ask you then, I think is that something that you kind of prefer? Like, if I was a manager and you made that decision, if I called you over to the line, would it be just a nuisance on you, like, to explain it, or?
Well, I wouldn't go to the line just to explain the decision, to be honest with you. The reason I go over to a manager during the game would be if he wasn't behaving in a responsible manner and had to get an official warning or be removed from the technical area. But, like, absolutely, there's no problem. Like, I have no problem whatsoever speaking to managers at half time or after the game if they had to question my decisions or look for an explanation for a decision, provided it's done in a respectful manner, that it's a conversation, that it's not a shouting match, that it doesn't become abusive. At that stage, then you just have to say, look, I'm sorry, you're getting abusive, you're getting too aggressive, I'm refusing to speak to you. Like, there's nothing worse if you come out to me at half time and you go to me, Keith, why wasn't that a yellow card? And I'm going, I'm not talking to you. Like, straight away, that's a red rag to a bull to you. You're going, like, you man, like, you can't even talk to him. Like, you're doing yourself no favours whatsoever there in that situation. Like,
yeah. No, look, something I kind of started doing is taking my captain into the referees before the game, and, you know, just saying, look, I'm going to try control it there now. The players are going to talk to him, and kind of you'll speak to him. And to be fair, the refs have been kind of recipient about it. They want.
Yeah, like when you get your team sheet before the game, like, you'll know what player from each team. You're always going to have one that you can talk to. Now, it mightn't be the captain all the time, but it could be a player like that's around a long time. He's experienced. He's level-headed. He's calm. You can go to him and say, look, have a chat there with number 2. He's, you know, you need a player like that on the pitch that you can use for your benefit. You know, so in regards to coming in before the game with the captain, I have no problem with that. But just because he's captain, that doesn't give him a right to question decisions. Then, like, you know.
Oh no, but again, it's kind of one voice than 11 voices, which is kind of the thing we're going to promote. Again, it's just trying to promote it because I understand totally, like, where the refs are coming from, you know, and we kind of had it in England. Our captain always went into the dressing room. Basically, they were trying to promote it in the lower leagues because there was a big problem with it. But then again, look, there's managers going wild at refs then. So, as I said, it has to come from kind of top players down, and it'll take a while. But look, the rugby did it. Yeah, is there more questions? Yeah.
Peter Sheehan is asking, have you ever read the game Darren was playing in?
Peter Sheehan,
Dirty, he asks.
yeah. So, have you ever ref the game I've been in? Come on here.
this one.
Yeah.
I can remember Darren when Darren broke into the League of Ireland scene first down in Cove, about 18, 19 years of age. He was mad. Like, I'll be honest, I'll hold my hands up now and I'll tell you now, right? The team sheet used to come in before the game and you'd see Darren Murphy's name on the team sheet and you'd go, oh my God, here we go. Yeah, and I actually spoke to you about this because we worked with you afterwards, like, and you were telling me, like, you know, you used to be so pumped going into matches and stuff, like, you know, like, you were just demented going around to the pitch, like, but you were one of these guys in your younger years now, like, obviously you grew out of it or whatever, like, afterwards, like, but in your younger years you were one of these guys. Yeah, no, but there was no talking to you, like, you just literally came out onto the pitch and you had tunnel vision and that was it, like, you know, don't talk to me, don't, like, I'm seeing him and I'm going through him, like, you know, and that's it, like, you know, you were mad, yeah.
What about you, Eddie? Do you remember being mad?
I always thought you were quiet. No. Like, as Keith said there, you'd look at the team sheet down in Cove and you'd see Darren and you'd go, oh, fucking,
and
here we go.
I, like, as I said, you were right, and I see it now, like, and that could have hindered me as well, because obviously, like, you know, coaches, being a coach now myself, I probably wouldn't touch a player like that. Like, you know, you'd be kind of wary of taking him on your team because he could cost you a game by getting sent off, or, you know, like, is he going to be that way, like, towards his career? Do you know, like, especially if you're taking a chance in the UK, like.
I know a lot of guys, like a lot of the top players, like, they have to have this little bit of an aggressive streak, like, you know, or a little bit of a nasty streak, as it's called, like, and it's part of the game, like, and most of the good players do have that. It's about having a little bit of controlled aggression. But there's a difference between controlled aggression and what you had, no, to be fair.
Wild crazy, yeah.
There's numerous players out there like that. They're probably the quietest young fellas you'd meet, and then they step over the white line and they just go mental, like. But you have to learn how to control these young fellas, like. But you're a different league.
Different league altogether. I actually remember one of the referees in question, I threatened him in a game. I got about 7 games for it, just being stupid young fella, like. But look, these things happen.
So Sean O'Connor, how do you rate the standard of refereeing in Cork?
Sean O'Connor, how do you rate the standard of refereeing in Cork? That's a good one.
I'd say it's pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah, it's good. Like, there's we're all going to make mistakes. We're only human. There's a good bunch in the senior league. No, there's a strong panel there this year. The AUL have a strong panel. Like, you need your top referees, and you need your grade ones, and like a lot of the senior league, or a lot of the League of Ireland lads are helping out in the senior league now this year as well. The standard is good. Like, you're going to have fellas that are only starting that are going to make mistakes, and it doesn't come easy to them. But, you know, we just have to try and educate fellas more. Get fellas training. We do 2 or 3 modules a year there. One is our seminar, which involves your fitness test and your written test, and then you've learning modules then as well, and we have monthly meetings that we'd have laws of the game, and these are there to educate fellas and, you know, help them progress. But, like, hopefully the standard is okay, like. But, like, if you look at last season and what Keith achieved last year, he had the Oscar Trainer final, the AOH final. He was involved in the FA Junior Cup final. Like the Cork referees in the last couple of years been involved in numerous National Cup finals. So, like, we have to be doing something right down here that we're getting these games, like, you know. So hopefully we can keep it going.
Oh, excellent. And you said you're at 20 years and still learning. So, you know.
Though, like, to be honest though, like, if you actually are 100% honest, like, kind of in the last maybe 6-7 years, it did regress a bit, like, refereeing in Cork, to be honest, because we took some massive hits there. Like, you know, Tom Tully passed away. Like, Tom was a massive loss. Like, the likes of John Lane retired, Pat Murphy retired, Larry Buckley retired. All these were established grade 1 referees, and they all kind of, for one reason or another, left refereeing in kind of a 3 or 4 year period. And, like, to lose that many grade 1s, it actually had a massive impact on Cork. And, like, a lot of the younger guys that came in about 4 or 5 years ago, they're starting to progress up through the ranks now, and they're becoming grade 2s and grade 1s at the moment, and you're starting to see these guys come through now. So, like, it definitely has improved now again the last year or two, like, but it did go back a couple of years ago with the loss of those referees, like. But I think the future is bright now. There's good young guys coming through, like, and stuff, you know, so it's definitely on the up again for Cork, like.
Just on that one there, like, when we were coming through 15 years ago, we were haunted. Like, you had Eddie Foley, you had Anthony Buttermore, you had Allen, you had Aidan O'Regan, Dan Deedy, Stephen O'Connell. These were all experienced lads. Tom Tully was only after retiring from the League of Ireland. Like, we were lucky. We'd experienced fellas that were able to help us. Now, like, we're getting to the stage now. He's still a young fella. I'm 46. But, like, I'm trying to help the younger fellas coming through now, because, there might be 5-6 years left of me at the top, like, but he's got another 10 years, like. But, like, we need these fellas coming through, like.
Yeah, it's all about the experience. And just talking about the fitness, so we fitted Keith with our Player Tech app there last week, and he's anxious to know because I haven't told him. So basically, one of the players did 10.7, as you can see, at 10.5. How do you think you done distance-wise?
So probably around 10k, it's 9.5, 10k.
Just before I tell you the results, actually, are you quick?
I can be if I want to be.
Right, so 10.7, we only measured 2 players. 10.7, 10.5, you did 9.65. Could have been a small pitch. Yeah. Unlikely. But
putting it on me.
Yeah.
I'm smaller.
So one of our players did 42 sprints in the game. you're 36. You only did 18 sprints, but the speed 7.75, 7.78, and he's a quick player. 10.2 was your top speed. So they were quick. Actually, as well, so this app matches you to a pro player. It should actually do referees. It doesn't. There's no option for referee. Maybe it's something Player Tech can bring out. Good job. You played just like Man City's Fernando Luis Rosa in the first half against Newcastle United on the 1st of September.
He was unreal in that game.
Was he?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
it?
But no, it's interesting to see. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing for speed work in the refs, but I need to take him down. Doesn't train?
We train on a Tuesday night and then Thursday night.
Doesn't turn up.
Oh, he doesn't turn up.
It's the post job. There you go.
2 marathons a week at work.
So, but look, lads, again, respect the referee. Again, they're human at the end of the day. They can make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And again, parents, if you're at games, like, calm it down a little bit and have respect for these lads. They're 2 good lads at the end of the day, and so are the rest of the crowd. And cheers for being on tonight, lads, and helping us out. All right?